Thank you so much, Pooja. Very excited to be here with all of them. I was just talking to them how I've got like how I've already heard of all their brands and like big fan of their social media in general. I'll just be quick. We'll just get started. I know there are a lot of like first-time founders here or like people who are just starting their journey. So just wanted to understand from you guys. Like taking you back in time, like what was the importance of social media when you all just started, and how has it evolved with time? Yeah, Kamakshi, we can start with you.
Hi. Thank you so much for being here, first of all, guys. For me, the journey started during COVID, and what really was the trends at that time was everybody was super digital. So what we primarily did a soft launch with one product, and just made that stood out with our content, with creating videos that really resonated with women, and teaching them how to use the product, and even breaking taboos in sense that like just talking about shapewear and innerwear in general. So I think we got lucky and we saw a huge spike at that time, even when everything was under lockdown, because of the content we created. So I think right now, people in general are super digital, and what every brand can do is like just bring their voice forward and make the most of social media.
Thank you so much, Kamakshi. I think very insightful. Supriya would love to understand from you as well.
So Indulgeo started back in 2017 when we were, people were getting big on influencer marketing, but I was inspired by Charlotte Tilbury. The route she chose was she made her community her, her influencer. And back then, nobody was really focusing on makeup artists and, that side of community to build the brands. We were the first one to initiate these giftings and activities with the makeup artists, and they all appreciated it. Back then, nobody was charging big time, but they all accepted us. They all gave us all the love. And Indulgeo's top seller product, which is still number one seller on Nykaa, Indulgeo's Rose Gold Oil, is paired very well with makeup. And they all loved how we included them in all our campaigns, appreciating their work. And frankly speaking, my influencer spend was maybe 1% of my entire marketing. It was just community building back then. And I believe all of us here, like all the brands right here, they all are into community building and not just posting fancy and pretty picture on the social media. I mean, I'm extremely inspired by Kamakshi, how she's pulled up her social media and, the kind of content that goes out, every woman resonate to it. And you see raw, real pictures there. And I think that's what today it's all about. People are not looking for those fancy photo shoots. They're looking for real people. That is why UGC content is the most engaging type of content today.
That makes a lot of sense, and 100% agreed on Kamakshi's content. I think love their page. Anshita and Ananya would love to know your journeys as well.
So for me, when we were building Fix My Curls back in 2019, it was all about education. I mean, in the beginning, we had to educate people that, hey, you have curly hair or you have wavy hair. And then they joined somewhat a semblance of a community, and then we started to build it. So for us, I think we didn't have pools of people who knew what their problem was. We had to first introduce it to them. So it was a lot harder back then. And influencers wise, I mean, we had very small pools. Like there were 10 influencers in the entirety of like pan India. So we had to create a lot of influencers. So I think the journey for us on social media was very different, but it was purely education for the first 2 years.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I think I would also say the same thing. We spent a lot of time focusing on education because what we do at Type, no one else really does. people don't understand the concept of having like 4 different foundations, that they are for 4 different skin types and you have to pick your type. So we had to figure out how to tell people, hey, this is what your type is, this is what you get for your type. And I've said type a lot, but I guess that's my life now. So we spent a lot of time doing that, but also for us, it was about making science fun because we're such a science-backed brand. So you'll see anywhere on our social media, there'll be a lot of like pink and orange and Gen Z coloring. It's to make the translation of all that heavy science fun for a younger consumer. So I think we focus on building the community in that way, with people who are actually skincare geeks in a way, who want makeup that's good for them, but also want to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, I think it's quite wonderful how different all of your journeys are, and education is still like a common point. My follow-up question would be, when you first started, where did it fall in your priority matrix? Like, is social media something that was one of the first things that you did, or you waited for your startup to pick up and then started focusing on it?
So if you talk about Indulgeo, Indulgeo is an Instagram-made brand. There was no plan of launching a brand initially. Indulgeo is born by chance. So my mom used to create Ayurveda and essential oil-based formulations for herself. She's been creating it now since what, 20, 25 years. And she's treated her own alopecia with essential oils and natural products. So my daughter had glucose, she still has glucose intolerance, and she was diagnosed at the age of 4. And she get pigmentation all around her body when she eats sugar. So initially it looked like she has diabetes, because that's the first symptom of diabetes, that you get pigmentation on your neck, fingers, knuckles. So I was very scared, but no, she's just intolerant. So obviously my entire family was paranoid that, you know, she's getting these marks all around her neck and everything. So a dermat gave me a very high dose of hydroquinone, and it was around 4% hydroquinone, and my mom was anti it, that, you know, I won't let you put that on my, you know, so she was very anti, ki nahi, you will not put it on her. And she said she'll go to school, you can't keep running behind her with sunscreen, hydroquinone ke baad skin exposure theek nahi hota, and we switched to natural products. So I was using a body oil on her, which my mom made, and which we call blooming body oil today. And that helped her, and it's still helping her. So yes, she gets red after, if she takes sugar, but those red flare-ups, they don't turn black, or even if they turn black, the color come back normal after a few days with the body oil she's using. So when that happened, when, you know, though my mom was creating these oils for me, for my acne, for everyone in the family, but I never thought of it that way. When it worked for my daughter, I asked her that, Mama, this should come out. So I just posted a post on Gurgaon Mom's Facebook group saying my mom create these products, and if anyone like it, we would like to introduce you to those products. And we sent around, you know, whoever came to us, meko ye problem hai, ye query hai. So we send them products as per their requirement my mom formulated. And when they came back to us, they only said, take money. And that's when Indulgeo was born. So this entire process started November 2016, and in February, so we're completing our 8 years next month. So in February, we created our social media, and that's what I call my anniversary date, because that's when we named the brand. So social media is like, today if somebody said, just the US, they're saying TikTok is shutting down. If somebody will say India, my Instagram is shutting down, my business will shut down. So yes, Indulgeo is an Instagram-made brand. So, and I'm very proud of it, and I'm very thankful for all the people who engage and who've been, you know, building our brand, and not just mine, but so many others.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Supriya. I think Very, very helpful. Do you all have anything to share?
I mean, I feel like when we started, we actually started our social media before we even started the brand because we knew how important it was. We already wanted to create a community of people that were interested in something like what we were going to come out with before it ever even came out. So as soon as we'd done the initial branding, we actually launched our brand page and we started like talking about skincare ingredients, and then we came out with, you know, the entire brand. And I think, same as Supriya just said, I feel like we're built and born on Instagram, and that's what we are as a brand.
Yeah, I think it's just like really nice to see how the entire business models have changed and so many Instagram first brands are coming up. Would like as a follow-up question, would also love to understand, since there are so many social media platforms right now and it does take a lot of bandwidth to run them, produce original content, or like different platforms have very different themes as well. So what are some of the most important channels for you guys that you see as focus channels for your brand?
So for us, since day one, we were Instagram first. But what now we've realized is that Instagram suppresses our content because a lot of it is partial nudity. But what we've realized is that we really focus on WhatsApp, and that's become really great as a platform. And seeing that as social media can be very helpful for brands which are coming up, because people don't want to interact with like just random offer messages or utility messages on WhatsApp anymore. But if you actually shoot out content pieces and something that's educating and be of value to the person who's reading it, so that is super, super helpful, and that's something that we've pivoted recently. But having said that, Instagram, yes, has become a majority of all Indian users nowadays. So any brand would have to focus on that.
Makes sense. I think very similar for MyMuse as well. So my next question is for Anshita. Um, for FixMyCurls, since it's such a like a very targeted community, as in like it's made for people with curly hair, but like I've seen a lot of my friends even with straight hair, or like who wouldn't have like a product for them on the Instagram still following your page. So how do you balance between creating educational content and generic content which draws in people who are not your potential customers as well?
So I think back in 2019, we'd make educational content genuinely very educational in the sense that we try to teach people something, but then we realized that they didn't want to read very wordy paragraphs, and also people's attention span kept going down as the years passed. So today we try to also mix content where it's like, if you have curly hair, you have a straight haired best friend. So we know that that person exists in your life. So we don't ignore them. Even though our products might be for you, we still involve them in the communication. So maybe that's why they follow our page, because they feel like they can connect, and maybe they have a sister or a brother that has curly hair, but they don't necessarily have that. Because we've been talking more about hair from the lens of what it does for you in your life overall, not just here's a hair gel, please use it. We've stopped doing communication that way. So I think that's what's helped us balance the fact that we're a very niche brand, but we want to reach a wider audience, because you never know, you might have curly hair, but you've cut it short, especially for men, we've realized. And since we started targeting them, our audience went from 80% women to 60% women and 40% men. Because men are not spoken to in our country, especially about their hair problems. And so many of them have curly or wavy hair. So our audience isn't actually niche. I think our targeting is niche, the audience is wide, but we target niche because it also saves us money, because we don't want to talk to everybody anyway.
That's very smart. So, just one more thing for you, Anshita. Do you get customer feedback on social media? And like, if yes, how do you end up using it in your broader, company strategy?
I think we definitely get customers telling us what we should make next or which hero product should come next. And when it comes from their mouths, obviously, then we know the product will be a winner. Oftentimes, when we don't listen to them and we do something that they didn't ask for, it doesn't do very well. So I think the one thing we've learned from consumer feedback, especially on posts or ads, anywhere, is if they're seeing something, listen to them and actually implement it because it will benefit you. And the people that take time out to comment feedback are the ones that are using your product and they genuinely care about it. So I think we've just learned to take them seriously.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Anshita. Coming back to you, Kamakshi, I think your brand, very similar to ours, also deals in a very taboo category, and I think you have done a wonderful work in like how you have structured your page or how raw your page is, which we were just talking about before the panel. So how do you use Instagram in general to break stereotypes or taboos, or like what is your general strategy about that?
So when we started 4 years ago, there were genuinely no brands in India who were, creating content for women, which is a inclusive and be very, very, specific but very mild. So I think for brands in India, it's been majorly men-led in intimate wear for women. So that was something that we wanted to really break and talk about it very openly. So sometimes we got a lot of positive feedback, but a lot of times when we used to get more bold, women used to unfollow us and like just be very open and candid about content that they just don't want to see on our page. But as a brand, we never stopped that, and still we are facing, these issues on a daily basis. That some women stay, but some want to just leave the page and message things like, "We're not going to follow you anymore. This content is really not appropriate." But to be very honest, according to me, I feel that there should be someone creating bold content in India, especially for lingerie and innerwear category, because nobody's talking about it, nobody is taking it seriously, and people are not building products according to what women actually need. So yes, we do get backlash a lot of times, and that's one of the cons of breaking taboos in India. But I think sensitivity has increased, and people really, the people who genuinely appreciate our content are our loyal customers. And even if they're not our customers, they drop in really nice messages many, many times. And what interesting fact that we've seen is that once you as a brand open up to people in general, people open up to you. So, people send us random messages about, I'm sure you must also receive that, but sexual problems and, like just problems in general they're facing. Some women just need discreet packaging because they can't order an expensive shapewear in the house. So there are many, many challenges, but I think talking about it, having a conversation, breaking taboos is something that's really, really needed in India.
I think in our case, consumers have been really nice and they have supported us through, but Meta not so much. So lots of regulations, to advertise or even on Instagram. Do you all also face something similar, or and like how do you go about it?
So for advertising, we don't really have a challenge as such. But in terms of posting content, yes, we get suppressed almost all the time. So what we follow in general is that not every content piece might work for you or the page, but there can be one hero content piece every week or every 15 days that does really, really well. So rather than focusing on every single content piece, we've taken the strategy like focusing on one every 15 days or one every month, just making it really stand out and put all of our, energies into that.
Thanks for sharing that, Kamakshi. Uh, My next question is to you, Ananya. Beauty is a very competitive category. There are a lot of brands. How do you still manage to stand out or, differentiate your brand's content as per that?
So, yeah, beauty is really competitive. But I think what we do as a brand, still not a lot of brands out there are doing, wherein we are catering to, yes, a very large audience, but also an audience of pure skincare geeks who understand that their needs are different from other people's needs. So for us, I think what we like to do to differentiate our content, you can always tell it's a type content piece because it'll always have some aspect of pink or orange in it. Um, B, we like to keep it, I don't know how to put this exactly, but we like to keep it educational enough. So if you have and you're seeing a type post that's about product, you'll see it in like a flowchart manner. So you can see not only like, hey, this will work for this skin type, but this will work for you, this will work for you, this will work for you, and this will work for you. So you can pick what works or, like find your type, whatever it is. So the idea is to stand out and make sure that people know that we are semi-customizing to you. We are creating science for you. So I think a large chunk of our social media is about the consumer more than anything else. Um, Lately, I feel like we've pulled back a little bit from like doing all of these influencers. So nowadays you'll see a lot of my own face on the page. But I guess it's something that we have to do, and it's easier for me to talk to the customer and tell them exactly what we're doing than it is for anyone else in the world too. So I think for us to differentiate, it's really important to keep pushing the fact that we are different as a brand, that nobody else is actually doing what we are doing out there. So I think that's how we like to kind of keep it together.
Same thing would also apply to your brand, Supriya. So, like, what is your strategy and like how do you differentiate your content?
So yeah, communication is the key, like Ananya rightly said, that talk to your customers, talk to your client, know what they want, and even developing products around what your customer wants is the victory. Just like Fix My Curls, my daughter, she love everything what you create, and she's a curly hair girl. And for brands and for brands to create product, what your audience will like, or to create product for someone. It's especially for someone. Like back when I started Indulgeo, so we standardized 5 formulations with the kind of queries we got. So we got queries for pigmentation, acne, hair fall, and in general, we want a healthy skin. So we standardized those 5 formulations, and that's when we launched a brand. So our first 3 months, when we started getting queries, we were just collecting data, what people want. And I believe the right way to grow is what people want, make that, and communicate and know more and take a feedback. And also be true to your ethos and what you want to put out. Um, Everyone here, like if you talk about Ananya also, how she's working hard on her formulations and making sure that she has a formulation for every skin type. And that is why it's called type beauty. So every woman sitting here on this panel, I think we all are killing it in the field because we know our customers very well. When I started back in 2017, I was the one taking all customer service calls. I think for at least for 1.5 years, I was taking every consultation. And still those clients stay with us. And those clients, they want to talk to me only for consultation. And I do that. I mean, though we are bigger now, but I still want to find time to talk to those customers because they have been relying on me to know what they want to use. And I want to give that to them. And still if somebody says that I want to, I want a detailed consultation, the slots are booked with me only. So the more you talk to your customer, the more you know your customer, is better you grow.
So since yours is like a clean, beauty brand, so do people also talk about sustainability, like your customers? Is that is
Yes.
okay?
Yeah. So sustainability and your certification, but just be true to what you are doing. Like normally you see a lot of brands, they put out, we are an eco-certified brand. But when you go back and research, no, they're not eco-certified. They're using some ingredients that is eco-certified. So rather say we are using eco-certified ingredient rather than saying I am an eco-certified brand. So be true. That is what I would preach. Like sustainability, I don't believe in paper versus plastic. I feel plastic was born because there were a lot of tree cutting, and it was born to replace the wastage, the deforestation that was happening. The problem with our country is how to dispose of the plastic. So I would rather preach on how to dispose of the plastic. That's what my daughter, she's been running campaigns all around for recycling and returning your products. And she's been, so she started a community called Pure Purpose, where she is reaching out to brands and that any empty bottles, any beauty cosmetic bottle, they ship it back to her and she will distribute it in the right recycling facility, because there's so much of plastic waste that we're generating, especially with our empties. So these kind of initiatives, I think, as brands we have to take. Apart from that, one very smart call I took was the products that sell very well for me, like my rose gold and, I turned the packaging into tin. No paper, no plastic. Tin is recyclable since, for I don't know how many times you can recycle it. So yeah, that was a very smart move. And we were out loud that no Indian brand is doing that they have moved their outer packaging to tin. And also, one thing that I notice is a lot of brands are working with these very good manufacturing facilities who manufacture the outer box, but they don't have their FSC stamped label on their packaging. So it's better to use all the certificates that you can to tell your consumer. So there is a regulation where these vendors buy sustainable paper to manufacture your box. But if you're not putting that out loud and communicating to your audience that you're not just using paper, but you're using sustainable paper, which is certified, so that will make more sense to your audience, like that you are, even if you're using paper, using the right kind of paper. You're not spending your money on illegal deforestation and getting paper generated from there. So use your ethos right, use your certifications right, and yes, get your certifications from third parties, like Ayush, if you're doing natural manufacturing. Indian government has been supporting small businesses, especially to get MSME and Ayush licenses, so that they know what you're creating and you communicate that out loud to your audience. So it's about being true and sharing to your audience what you're exactly doing and not exaggerating.
Thanks for explaining it all so well. I'm definitely taking back the difference between paper, plastic, and till back with me. Instagram, like this is a very Instagram specific question. The algorithm is always changing. I've seen social media teams always talking about, oh, visibility has gone down, engagement has gone down, and different metrics that they track. How do your brands deal with ever changing algorithm? And if you have like 2-3 tips for the audience that this is what helps in like keeping up with Instagram visibility and engagement. You wanna take it?
I mean, yeah, okay, sure. Um, God, this is a hard question. I just feel like you should be following global brands. like very closely, because what happens is a lot of trends that are going to come on your Indian algorithm have already happened there, and they're probably happening right now, and they'll come to us in maybe the next 2 months, 1 month. Like even audios that are trending, they happen on TikTok way before they come on Instagram Reels. But you can catch it if you want to. And we've been using TikTok to, like, we use a VPN, we're on TikTok, and we just watch content. We find audio that's already booming there. You know that it's going to come here eventually, but it's late. So for us, one way that we've tried to stay a little bit ahead or just a little faster, because it's really difficult to find audio and then create a piece of content that is actually good and push it out in 24 hours. Like that, it doesn't work that way. So what we try to do is catch it prior to it being popular in India, and then we push that content piece out. And honestly, other than that, just stay true to, again, like Supriya said, like whatever you're communicating, the algorithm will change every week, every month, every year. But your audience, they are real humans. Yes, they're scrolling and they don't realize what they're double tapping on, and they're probably not consuming a lot of the content you think they are. But for the ones that are, and for the ones that come to you because they belong to your community, they don't really want to see you switch gears so fast. I think you have to stay true to like communication, specifically like tone of voice. If you can keep tone of voice consistent and then keep kind of switching content pieces, I think that maybe works better. So we've tried to do that as well to keep up with the algo, but also like, because we don't want to get shadow banned on Instagram either. Sometimes when your content performs too well, suddenly most of your audience doesn't see you anymore. And that has happened to us. We'll be putting out reels with almost 90K followers. We'll get 10K, 12K views. And then it's because we just got 1.5 million or 6 million on a reel. Suddenly you're shadow banned. We've seen it happen. So now we don't think about it too much because it really disappoints you as well, because we're a content-led brand, so it really matters to us. But yeah, I think these are a few ways we try to like stay either ahead of the algorithm or try to stay with it as much as we can. But it's really difficult. So if people are finding it hard, I mean, it's one of the hardest things right now.
Those are really great insights. I mean, the TikTok one, I had no idea. So
Yeah, you should do it.
yeah. With all the goods about Instagram, like it has helped some of you start your brand, so like has been one of the first thing that you all focused on. There are some bads as well, right? Like people, there are a lot of trollers, people leaving negative comments and not necessarily, constructive feedback as well. Have you faced that, and like if yes, how did you deal with that? Or how do you deal with that in general?
Is this for me?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, you can take.
No, is this for some? I can.
Huh?
I mean, simple answer for us is we delete, block. It's really simple. Trolls are trolls only, and if it's not constructive feedback, you delete the comment or you block them. Because you can tell the difference between a customer who genuinely has a problem versus someone who's just hating on you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter, and there's so many of them out there today. Delete it. It's your page. It's your business. So that's my advice.
Love that life mantra as well. Okay, I think also since Instagram is becoming very, very technical, and so are, all other social medias, how do you track growth? Because it's not necessarily in terms of followers also all the times. So how do you, what are the metrics that you track to make sure that you are growing in a more healthy manner, other than engagement and followers, of course?
So there's one matrix that I keep my eyes on is traffic on the website and sales, because see, on different platforms there are different type of audience. For me, my audience age bracket is between 28 to 45. So mostly these younger people are more engaging versus this, 30 to 45 age group. They don't engage, they shop. So if I'm putting out a content, or if you're putting out an announcement of a sale or a new launch or anything, if I see a spike in traffic and sessions on my website, um, I know my content is working. And because what I've seen versus my brand versus other brands, there are less likes, there are less comments. Sometimes I feel, what wrong am I doing? But then my team comes back to me and they say, no, you don't have Gen Z followers, you can't help it. So, but what I have is real shoppers, and they shop. So that's one very important metric for me. For me, like comments will not be as high as other brands because of the kind of followers I have. Same goes for Facebook and Snapchat. You have very different kind of audience on every platform. And like before, you also asked about importance, how much importance you give to each platform. I believe you have to give equal importance to each platform. Like on your Facebook, you'll find 40 plus audience. On your Snapchat, you will find under 25 audience. On Reddit, you will find audience which is more communicating. You know, there'll be more questions coming and people who like to read and talk and that even gossip. So Reddit audience is also extremely engaging. So running ads on Reddit, Quora, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, for me, every channel is equally important because I'll find a new buyer on each platform.
Wow, that's a great way to segment it. I'm also seeing a lot of founder-led brands where the brand is the founder, and founder branding is picking up a lot, and not just in like establishing founders' image, but also it's helping a lot with sales as well. I've seen Anshita's content, I've seen Ananya's. So big fan of that. But would love to understand from all of you what are your thoughts on that, and in general if you are bullish on this. Kamakshi.
So for me, like Anshita is doing absolutely great work in that sphere, and I'll leave it to her to elaborate more on that. But for us, we've always, just stick to very inclusive content. So I personally don't feel that I'm enough for the brand, and I generally like follow this practice that we just try to approach women who have a different story, who have a different journey, and who really look different. And in India, like it's such a diverse country that you will get voices that are super unique in their own sphere. So that's what has helped us, and that's something that we really like doing also, because at ButtChique 90% of the workforce is women, and we've tried our best to just include people who have very different thought processes and different point of views in general. But in terms of social media, yes, founder content is absolutely amazing to watch, and brands can really learn a lot. Even I'm learning a lot from that.
Okay, Supriya.
I was never comfortable in front of camera before. I'm trying to be now, but I feel being the face of your own brand and telling the audience from your own mouth what you create is equally important than doing any kind of influencer marketing and UGC content, because the way you can explain your brand, the way you can explain what you're creating, nobody in the world can. So I think building your founder profile and being your own brand is equally important. I believe there should be 50-50 of both.
50-50 is a very strong split. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Anshita.
I think it really depends on the type of founder you are. It's not for everyone, and it also depends on your business. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone, truly, because you will have a lot of eyes on you. And I mean, a lot of people are going to be very angry when they're not happy with the product or the service, and they will directly come to you as a founder if you're very much in the limelight at all times. So, of course, you have to be very confident about advocating for your brand, and you also have to be ready for a lot of people to come and be very personal about their journey with you. So as long as you can handle that, then definitely make founder content. But I think founder-led campaigns, ad campaigns work really, really well. And I think those have worked for basically everyone, especially if you made the product, like you have a very from scratch journey and you did it because it's a very personal problem for you. So I think in that sense, founder-led ad campaigns will always work, and I would encourage people to try those. But if you want to share your journey, you have to be ready to share every part of it, because a lot of people will come to you and say, can you mentor me? Can you teach me? How did you do this? How did you do that? And you have to actually tell them, right? To build a community. So now you're gonna reveal everything, basically. So if you're ready to talk about your failures, which a lot of founders on Shark Tank are doing, and I think that is what makes it so successful as well, is they were in losses, or this was a very bad year for them, and still they are still running the business so well. I feel like if you're ready to do all of that and be very transparent, and that means strangers know who you are, then you should make founder content for sure.
Great point. Ananya?
Honestly, I do content mostly like random stuff, sometimes surrounding the brand, sometimes not. I think founder-led content is amazing. Again, with what Anshita said, it comes as a double-edged sword. You have to deal with all of that. But I think it's really, really nice to have the founder as the face of the brand, because you, like Supriya also just said, no one can talk about it the way you can. No one can show someone else how to use the product the way you can. For example, when we launched our Jerry blushes last year, a lot of people were having trouble with like blending it, let's say, right? And it wasn't a product that was supposed to be applied directly to the face because it was a stain. So I had to then go out there and be like, hey, this is how you do it. This is how long it wears. This is how the product works. And it actually ended up working for us really, really well, because anytime we got a comment saying, hey, this is not working, we would literally send people videos of me applying the product. It became like a whole thing. But yeah, so I think that no one knows your product as intimately as you do. No one can speak about your product as well as you can. I think for me, the struggle is always keeping it under a certain amount of time, because I can talk. But I think it's really important for founders to be out there. I think it's great. Yesterday, I was literally getting a manicure and someone came up to me and they were like, hey, aren't you Ananya? Don't you run Type? I love your brand. I was like, this is so cool.
Thanks for sharing that, Ananya. Since we are running short on time, just one last question for you all. What are some of the trends that you are seeing emerging in social media industry? Like if you had to pick up one trend that you are very bullish on. Yeah, come on.
I personally feel that, yeah, founder-led is great and it's very, very fresh right now. But also, like, I'm very keen on seeing celebrities starting their own brands right now. And like, they're coming up with very, very powerful campaign and really picking out one aesthetic of that celebrity and really banking on that. So if somebody is like really starting out and starting fresh, they could really like learn a lot from the Super You brand that Ranveer Singh co-founded. So like I personally love and want to see more brands like these come up.
Supriya?
I believe, yes, the founder-led content, one. And second, content where you very casually just talk about product in between, and there's some other story running, more quirky, fun, like comedy content that people just, they're laughing out on something and then just bring up about a product. So that kind of content is working really well where people, because that's what people like to see. They like to see fun things happening on their reels. So yeah.
Anshita?
I think the 0 to 1 journey is going to be really big this year. So anything you're making, make sure that you're doing it from 0 to 1 in front of a camera, basically. So doing everything related to your product in front of the camera, I feel like is going to be big this year, whether it's founder or employees. I've seen employees make really good content for some brands where they talk about their journey working as an employee or someone in social media or someone in product and innovation. They literally talk about, oh, this is how we made the packaging, this is how we struggled with choosing like a shade, etc., etc. So I feel like employee-led content is also going to be really big this year, like the 0 to 1 of actually working in an office and creating something. Yeah.
Ananya?
Definitely founder-led content, 0 to 1 for sure. I was literally going to post something like that next week for our new launch. But I think the idea around like specifically trends right now is that people don't want to necessarily see that like, oh, this is trending, I've seen it 1,000 times, let's see it one more time. Like I feel like what would work better is hearing a story. I think the entire social media landscape has changed completely to where instead of just being like random snippets of content, it's switched to storytelling so much now that everyone wants to know the A to Z story of everything. Like, I want to know how this dish was made. I want to know how this product was made. I want to know why you became a founder. This is all just storytelling. It's all of us sharing our stories. It's our brands sharing the stories. And I think as we grow, I think definitely storytelling is the way to go.
I think we have a very strong takeaway in form of founder-led content here. Since I don't want the bell to ring again. Huh? Yeah, exactly. So I'll just like, if anyone has any questions, otherwise we'll just like break then. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Manikant, and my question is for the beauty brands particularly, because what I have seen in the recent years, that since the cost for a product for a beauty brand is slightly less, I would say it is around most of the products it's under 1,000, wherein when it comes to advertising, the cost per acquisition in Meta, in Instagram, in any other channel, that's coming to around 1,200, 1,800, and lot more. So in this case, many brands, they are struggling to generate ROS from the advertising. So what's your suggestion to them, how they can make up for that?
So whenever we experiment with keeping founder-led influencer content on one side and dividing the spends between the two equally, the CAC and our ROS increases. For example, if there's an influencer posting about a product, she's pushing traffic to our website, and those audience, then they start getting our ads. They come into our funnel, and retaining them because they're already coming through an influencer page. They know what the product is about. It's easier for them to convert. So when we do that, when there's a 50-50 split, the ROAS is better. When we are only focusing on Meta ads, definitely the cost of acquisition increases. But you have to make sure when you're running your Facebook account that what is the cost of your product and what is the maximum cost of acquisition you can spend on that product, and then decide what products you want to focus on. Like the products, for me, the products that are between the price range of 800 to 1,000, I know I don't have to jump an X acquisition cost. Versus the product that is in the price range of 27, 20, 2,800. I know even if I'm going 1,200 for an acquisition cost, I'm okay, I can deal with it. And it's better to use your retention marketing in a better and stronger way, use your WhatsApps and emails, because the acquisition cost is much more cheaper over there. And you're able to retain your customer better, in a better way. And rather you can give your consumer better discounts on your WhatsApp and email marketing and retain them just instead of not targeting them through your Meta and Facebook ads. Like if you talk about me, my split between retention and remarketing, or by remarketing I mean targeting my existing customer, is 10% of my Meta. Rest I'm only targeting my new customers so that I build a better new funnel. The existing customer, I only target them through either influencer marketing or WhatsApp or email because right now with WhatsApp, what's happening is you're landing into a lot of archives. So we have started again, we stopped our SMS marketing, but we have started our SMS marketing again only because a lot of people now put you in archive because they don't want to be spammed. And even when you're doing WhatsApp marketing, you have to be very logical about what you're putting out. You just can't send message like, okay, today is 20% or today is 50% off. You have to be communicative with your customers. So it's better to always have two-way communication so you know if that customer is actively engaged and is keen to get your offers and your messages. And if it's not a two-way message, you will not know that even if your customer is engaging with your message or not. So when you're getting your two-way messages, you can filter which customer is actually retaining and they're reading your messages. And the other customers who are not engaging with your WhatsApp, you can reach out to them through other mediums.
Thank you.
Ananya, you want to add?
I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say focus on retention, focus on quality, because if your product is at a certain level, people will just keep coming back. And the idea is to get someone to become a repeat customer, never to have just a one-time customer.
Got it.
Thank you so much, guys. It was lovely speaking to you all, and thank you so much for sharing your journey so candidly. I think we should break off.
I have a question specifically for Anshita. Hi Anshita, I hope you're doing well.
I'm good.
And I just want to mention that I resonate more with you since I also have curly hair right now. I've straightened it because of the weather. And I have been your consumer as well. So in India, there is a huge gap for this product because very few people have come to the realization there is a solution for their curly hairs. So I want to understand, like, since there is a gap as well, and there is a challenge there could be a challenge in SEO as well. So that's why there has been fluctuation in algorithms when you post content on Instagram, and everything works on SEO. So how are you placing yourself? So what is your tactic to, implement all the strategies that aligns with the SEO and to serve the consumers for their needs?
See, at the moment, we have an SEO agency. I'm not an expert on search engine optimization by any means, but we rank really well on a lot of these keywords, like page 1, page 2 of Google. So there's honestly not much we can do at this point. It's just that when you enter a niche and you are growing the segment, you do have to wait. You are an early adopter yourself as a brand, and the rest of the country is still catching up to the fact that this category exists, right? In the next 3 to 4 years, we won't face this issue, but wait karna padega thoda sa. It will get bigger, right? As you said, the category exists. You know it, I know it, the rest of people will also know it, but you have to give it time sometimes.
That's true. Thanks for your answer. That's
Thank
all.
you.
Okay, thank you, guys. We'll break off now.
Thank you so much. Any questions? Last question anyone would like to ask? Okay, we have one last question. We can take one last.
Hello, this is Mohit. So no doubt, social media is fueling the rise of D2C brands. But there is a challenge that comes alongside it. For example, because of the rise of the social media, you're getting a lot of orders. How we solve for the problem which is coming is RTO, because of late what we are seeing, a lot of drop shipping business is happening, and a lot of sellers are facing high RTO problems. So do you have any idea or solution to this problem, that how to tackle the high RTO, return to origin?
So yes, recently RTO has really increased. Our RTO rate initially was around 4.5%, and now it's around 9.5%, which I believe is still decent, but still it's higher than what it is. Number one, increase your prepaid split. Try and turn your customers into your prepaid customers and give incentive on prepaid orders as much as you can, because the cost of your shipping your prepaid order versus your COD order is much more higher, because there's a COD collection percentage also that they take. And then when that order come back to us as RTO and we call our customer for confirmation, normally it happens is that was never attempted for delivery. And then you ship it for the third time. So, one cost is when you send, the second cost is the RTO, and the third cost is when you send again to the customer through any other courier company. So I believe we have tried a lot of models for RTO. We follow a flow of WhatsApp order confirmation from our customers. With every NDR, we make sure we are not using a third party, but we do our internal calls. We have set up our entire internal team. We do our internal calls to verify was this order not delivered, not attempted, or how it was. And we record those calls and put that, and if it's, again, if it's marked as RTO, we put that claim back to the courier company that we have a recorded call with the customer that this was not attempted, or she never got any call, or it was, you know, it is not, like they normally put up a message saying house was closed and this and that. So we try and create and collect as many proofs as we can, so at least we get the reimbursement of those RTOs. And try and sign up to these channels, like right now Razorpay is, you know, they're giving you tags on your Shopify that is this location low on RTO, medium on RTO, or high on RTO. The tags that we get, every tag that we get high on RTO, we call for each and every you know, order and verify their address before shipping out. And for those high RTOs, sorry, high tags, we are not insured by Razorpay, but for low tags, the orders which have the tag low, Razorpay pay us as an insurance because they are assuring it that it will be delivered. It's, you know, the chances are that won't get RTO'd. So if by chance that is still getting RTO'd to us, Razorpay is, you know, giving us an insurance on the same. We are paid, they pay us back the shipping and the RTO cost. So yes, you have to secure yourself from all four sides.
Pretty interesting on the geotagging part. So this geotagging, is it at the pin code level or it is more granular than that?
I think it's more detailed and more granular than that, because it's not just pin code, it's the incomplete address, if it's the house number written or not, if the landmark is written or not. So they analyze the entire address, because Razorpay is a big company and they have a huge database. So a similar thing is also run by ShipRocket, and I'm a ShipRocket client also, but they are not they're not providing insurance right now on your RTOs versus Razorpay is. So that's why I chose Razorpay to secure myself.
Just to quickly add on here, so you can actually tackle it with twofold strategy. Number one, make sure you're calling all your COD customers so that, you know, you can verify right then and there that is it legit or not. Secondly, yes, checking the address. If it's incomplete, you have to call the customer and ask for the complete address, because sometimes it's a mistake as well. So you can't just, you know, like consider it as a fake order. And third, even GoQuick as a platform is really good. That's working really well for us. And they also have a very detailed strategy in which you can even ask for partial prepaid rather than going with like a full prepaid option, and partial COD options. You can increase the price for COD. So now I think many tools are there. So I think it's just about trying a couple and seeing what fits the best for your community and your user.
And any kind of a exclusion list basis mobile number also exist that we can auto cancel the order if they are coming from those particular mobile numbers?
So you can actually, so GoQuick already has this because they've been used by, I think, thousands of brands in India. So they already know the customer who will, you know, maybe place a fake order or do an RTO, and the chances are really high. So what you can do is just see if you really want to narrow it down so deeply, you can actually even like go to GoQuick and remove those customers entirely who are at very high risk, and the COD option won't show on the checkout. Like they can only avail the prepaid option. So it's just about how your community reacts. But you also will have to be very mindful about this, because in India, majorly people like COD, you know, and Amazon has COD only in India. So you can't just like eliminate COD. You will have to tackle it very smartly.
Thank you so much. Pretty insightful and helpful.
Thank you. And thank you, Garima, for moderating the session.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for listening, and thank you for sharing your journeys again.
Thank you.